Please state your name and for the record.
Susan Mayor, Volusia County.
You can move the microphones up so you're
Oh,
not.
okay, I just want to make sure the ones in the back can hear real good.
Oh, trust me, they'll hear you.
All right. It appears that some members of this council seem to think the people of this county exist to provide your position. I think your position exists to give people a voice and provide freedom. I am here to watch that you honor that trust. The beach should be treated as an asset, not a liability. Beach driving should be embraced, not shunned. In 2014, there were 337,046 registered voters in Volusia County. Interestingly, there were 351,549 daily entries to Daytona Beach. I think that says something. Parking on the beach has always been a viable way to manage the amount of traffic and beachgoers in our county. Buying massive amounts of property just does not seem reasonable, sensible, or fiscally responsible. I hope you will reconsider your vote today and support Let Volusia Vote and let freedom ring. Thank you.
Thank you. Martin Zimmerman. Aging Martin Zimmerman. Okay, Mr. Zimmerman did not show up. That's the fourth time we called him. Brian Glaze. Is that you, sir? You can use your cane to get up here. You go. Okay, don't want you falling down.
My name is Brian Glaze. I live at 51 Aspen Street, Daytona Beach.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
I've been an area resident since 1980. I support beach driving. On this issue, I've heard a lot about compromise from the advocates that are for the ordinance. Well, people that support beach driving, we've been given compromise ever since the turtles became more important to people. Enough's enough. We've given up so many miles of beach that we're packed into a smaller and smaller area all the time. Vehicle versus pedestrian accidents were unheard of before the public lost vehicle access to so many miles of beach. Any person who's against beach driving has a freedom of choice to visit the traffic-free beach area if they want to at any time. When I moved here, the boardwalk area, the core economic development district, as you call it, used to thrive day and night with tourists that were spending money, having fun, and they rented hotel rooms. And my family was one of them when I was a young adult. Those tourist families visit a lot of other locations now. The beach visitors need the safety getting more of the cars on the beach. The beach visitors need the safety of their vehicle on the beach to retreat to in case of thunder and lightning storms. Besides the convenience of bringing their chairs and the shade, umbrellas and coolers and kids' toys and surfboards and SUPs and all that, it's unsafe for beach visitors to cross A1A in any weather. It would be much worse if they're trying to gather all those things and rush back across the west side of A1A trying to return to their cars before lightning strikes. As an example, what you guys are trying to advocate, in St. Pete Beach, between 2009 and 2013, there were 123 pedestrian and bicyclist crashes and 5 deaths involving cars that occurred along Gulf Boulevard. In September of last year, the hotels gave out cards with tourist tips to the guests to help them cross the street safely so they can reach the beach without being killed. It's kind of ridiculous. A lot of drivers that visit Daytona Beach are from out of the area, and a lot of drivers are distracted. They're not familiar. And if you think 2 hotels, whether they're 4-star, 5-star, or 3-star, it's not going to make much difference. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You still have a few seconds left. Okay, Jeff White. Okay, sir. Yeah. There now, I think we got just about everybody we've heard from.
All right, thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak. My name is Jeff White, 501 Ocean Beach Road, Daytona Beach.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
I know where to start. I don't know if I can use this word, but I just want to say one word. Carpetbaggers. Can I say that?
We'll beep it out
I'm
later.
not, okay, just carpetbaggers, okay? About 10 years ago, maybe before the hurricanes even, they destroyed a whole area of Daytona Beach to put in a monolithic, gargantuan condo called Black Pearl. That property still sits vacant. Nobody's living there but bums and armadillos and raccoons. Now, that's a big section of Peninsula Drive north. Okay, so now we have this group, the Canadian group, investment group, called Bayshore. They've bought the licensing of the name Hard Rock Cafe, and from what I understand from the lady that spoke earlier today, that license expires at a certain point in time. So they may not even have a Hard Rock Cafe there. It's going to be a big monolithic cafe, another thing like marina thing that they built down there in Holly Hill that's empty, except maybe one condo per floor. Back in 98, I bought a boat in Terra Verde over on by St. Pete. I went over to pick it up. We went out to this island. Terra Verde is an island in chain there. There was no cars anywhere. There was just some landscape guys going to a combination 7-Eleven gas station to buy lunch. And the whole place was like a ghost town, but hundreds of these big condos, nothing there, no people living. And then we finally found some people with the houses of oceanfront property when we got in our boat. But outside of that, there's nothing there. So what we're going to end up here is a different kind of light by you guys giving the beach. And you guys are giving the beach to these guys. You closed, without even hearing from what I understand, you closed the beach from Granada, not you guys personally, but the county closed the beach from Granada North without even any voice at all from the people. They just created ordinance and it's gone. And now you have to answer to us. Now I know there's people on this council that made promises so they get elected and they've done. I know I don't have to mention names, but because I'm not allowed to, but obviously it's already cut and dry what you're going to do. I predicted this when we started the thing. Also, when I'm out there getting a petition signed to let people vote, the second question they ask us is, when are you going to get the petitions out for the recall? To recall you guys. So you guys, as soon as we're done with this petition, we're going to start the recalls.
Your time has expired, sir. Geraldine?
So sure it's.
Easy, sir. Geraldine Trivette? Okay. All right, Mike Dennis, are you here? Okay. Let me call a few more names to fill some seats there. Peter Luongo, Doug Hall, and Nancy Burgess Hall, and Barbara Coleman. Are any of these people, you back there? Okay, you sit down. When I call you, we'll bring a microphone up to you. You sure? Okay. Well, come on up front. Mike Dennis.
Hi, my name is Mike Dennis.
Hold on one second, sir. Jeff, can I give my hand? I don't need any problems. Thank you, sir. Okay. I'm sorry. You have the floor, sir.
I think it's the morning, I don't have a lot. Good morning, not good afternoon. My name is Mike Dennis. I live at 625 Lenox Avenue, Daytona Beach, Florida, and I urge you to vote no on these proposals. One thing I haven't heard about is you have ISB, which is 26% of the beach traffic per the Volusia County records. What really, really bothers me, when you close that, are you going to create another Main Street out of ISB? Talk about blight on ISB. That's going to kill it. Another point is, this is permanent. You can't undo this. I've emailed one of the councilmen and he said it's state law. You can't undo this. So this is it. You're piecemealing the beach. This is something that you should have done a long time ago. In fact, you said after the first Desert Inn thing that we really need to set standards. Quit piecemealing our beach. That's all I have to say. Let Volusia vote. Thank you.
Tom Kane.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the Volusia County Council and Kim Deneen and the staff. My wife and I, Betty, are strongly support of beach driving. And let the people vote. We're part of the 14,000 people that create a stack that's almost 9 foot tall. And I'm here to also tell you that Dave Byron will be quick to tell you that there's 11,500 small businesses in Volusia County. My wife and I own one of those businesses, and those 11,500 businesses make under $1 million in revenue. And for the most part, they ask for nothing. They're standalone. We can't afford expensive lobbyists like Jim Morris or Glenn Storch or the biggest of them all, Hyatt Brown. We're just small businessmen struggling in this county to make a living. And we don't like the idea that motels, which only contribute, motels and hotels contribute less than 1% to our tax burden. 67% of the tax burden comes from the people, the residents of Volusia County and the small business owners. And it's not right that they have your ear to the point where you're going to shut down the beach, you're going to shut down and ignore the citizens. You know, Thomas Jefferson once said that in a democracy is not controlled by the majority. He said it's controlled by the majority that participate. But those 14,000 signatures that you see so far, they're participants. And they represent the majority of the 500,000 people that live in Volusia County. In connection with tourism, we draw 9 million people that come to this city for a $4.5 billion revenue every year. But when you look at it, Bob Davis will be quick to tell you that 80% of those people drive here from mostly the southeastern states that can get here in one day. And these people that drive here love to drive. They come here for car events, like six NASCAR races, the Turkey Rod Run, the other car shows, motorcycle races, Motorcycle Week, which brings in about 1 million people. And we're proud of that. But they love to drive on the beach, and so do we. So please, there's 3 of you that made a campaign promise not to take cars off the beach. And the other day in a paper, News Journal on Sunday pretty much stated that you already voted. That's the perception that was in the newspaper. And in today's paper, Greg Gimbert points out that this meeting today is really illegal. You haven't given any of the property owners adjacent to there an opportunity to, you didn't send them a letter, you didn't give them an opportunity to speak. They have a right too. So he's right, this meeting is illegal. So please do the right thing and someone make a motion to do away with it or vote no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Mrs. Kane, Betty Kane. And we're piling up the pile again. Hello, Mrs. Kane.
Hi there, everyone.
Name and address for
My
the
name is
record.
Betty King, 101 University Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm a strong supporter of the beach. I live real close to it, and I see it every day, enjoy it for many reasons that the people mentioned here. When I grew up, I guess y'all know, it's not yesterday I was born, but we believed in different things. Truth, honesty, We used to shake hands and say, we'll do this or that. And people lived up to their promises. And you know, I'm starting to lose faith in my representatives, because many of them come across, you know, saying how they love the beach too. And now I feel like we're being sold out. And I feel like you guys need to take another look at this. Economic development? Give me a break. What are you bringing? This here Desert Inn, it's like 230 rooms. What are you bringing, a bunch of maids for $6, $8? And then the money goes out of town? We're helping them. They got a bargain on that property, and they started the problem with wanting to drive. Why don't we do a Nancy Reagan and say no to them? And the Hard Rock just felt like, hey, look what they're getting, I want some too. So what's gonna happen when you think about it? We're not gonna have one person, two people, everyone's gonna want the same thing. And then we're gonna have parking across the street. But what did that do for economic development? It took money to buy these parcels. What did that do? Oh, it took it off the tax rolls. Oh, that's okay. Just keep asking people for more so we could give it away. Aren't we a lot generous? We're too generous to the people. They shouldn't have to be bribed to come here to buy property. My God, this is the most beautiful, beautiful place I've ever been. I enjoy it. And I ask you all to please, in the ordinance, and vote no if you have to go ahead. You can stop this right now and let us have our 17 miles of beach instead of 47. So please do what we ask you to do while you're here. And also, we think that you represent us, and we hope that you don't let us down. And I still would love to have trust in my council and my people that I pay to represent me. Please don't let me down. Please say no. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Stu Marvin, have you showed up yet? He is done. Peter Luongo, there you are, sir. State your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Peter Longo. I live at 2745 Big John Drive in Deland, and we read in the paper the other day that the Haven facility out there is being taken, possibly being taken over by the county. Sort of change the subject here. But,
Hold on one second, sir. Okay, this issue is not before the council at this moment. I will hold your slip. This one will be taken up after lunch.
after lunch,
After lunch. I'm so sorry. I did not look. I thought you were part of the, this is all about the beach driving issue.
that's what I thought, and I was surprised I was called up.
Oh, well, yeah, this is- I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Have a seat, sir. We will be right back with you momentarily, in a little bit. All right, Doug Hall, raise your hand. Up, just sit down, sir. Yeah, just have a seat. Let's give him the microphone right in front of him, please, sir. Sir, raise your right, just lift up your right hand a little bit, and he'll put it in it. There you go, give him the mic.
Thank you very much.
I need you to state your name and address for the record, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Doug Hall. I live at 1405 Edgewater Road in Daytona Beach.
Okay, sir. Now, here's the way we'll do this. You have 3 minutes to express your opinion. When you come down to 30 seconds, before the clock runs out, I will let you know that you have 30 seconds to finish up your point.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll take a lot less than that.
No problem.
I am here today to support the SEA proposal regarding setting a standard for developers who are interested in limiting car access to the beaches behind their properties. Frankly, I have mixed feelings about the issue. However, I am a supporter in that we need to set standards. If we're going to be doing something like this, we need to have standards so everybody plays by the same game.
editor?
No,
Oh, okay.
fine where I was. Okay. I was really gratified by hearing from Weston and Hard Rock earlier regarding their plans for disability and for handicap access. That's great, but that's 2 properties. What about other properties? We need to set something where we're mandating that everybody does the same thing. We need to remember disability. I've heard people talking about cars and not cars and whatever. My feeling is that we need to also look at disability. It was mentioned ADA before. There are certain standards federally that do mandate and frankly not being done. I want to talk briefly about two items. One, parking. We talked about parking off-beat, that's great. But how about handicap parking? There are a lot of people with wheelchairs and people with mobility problems that need parking, and I haven't heard anything said about having handicap parking. And I think it's something we need to look at. The second issue is access to the beach. Yes, getting from parking to the beach is important. Right now, if you go to the beach, the hotels and that along the property, you're going to see there are steep steps to go to the beach. How in the world does someone who is mobility impaired get to the beach if there are steep steps? They need to have ramps. There was a problem mentioned about the soft stand. That's correct. Used to be Daytona Beach had beach wheelchairs. They seem to have disappeared. I think they need to be brought back. One of the proposals you might want to look at is ask the developers, the hotels, to provide beach chairs themselves. They can even charge a rent like Disney does on the items. The other thing I want to quickly mention, and it's going to be mentioned again
Okay,
in
Mr.
more
Hall?
detail.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
You have about 30 seconds.
Good, that's fine.
Right.
The other thing I want to talk real briefly is about boardwalk. We have a boardwalk now that's by the Ocean Center. I suggest we might want to set something where we have a boardwalk along this whole area so people could take a walk, whether it be in a wheelchair or not. And I think it's the kind of thing that can be done. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Nancy Burgess Hall. You are next.
Good afternoon, Volusia County Council members, staff, and citizens. My name is Nancy Burgess Hall. I live at 1405 Edgewater Road, Daytona Beach, Florida, 32114. I'd like to preface what I'm about to say, that I'm gratified that much of what I wrote here was already talked about this morning, and even though it's not in printed form, it appears that the attitude is leaning in the direction of what I'm about to say. I'm speaking in support of the ordinances 2015-6, 7, and 8, with the provision that it includes increased handicap access. Volusia County needs to create standardization. As my husband said, follow the same rules no matter who is making application, and preferably that we keep much of what's left of the beach available for driving. We need to respect the desires of driving on the beach, access for people with disabilities, family safety, and attracting economic growth. I treasure the history of driving on Daytona Beach and its importance in Daytona Beach's identity. That's why I don't want to see it picked apart. I respect that our core tourist area of Daytona Beach is blighted, and many, including myself, want to bring in nice hotels, restaurants, etc. I'd very much like to see the dreams of the E-Zone realized, where both expensive venues are available as well as medium places for people that don't have high incomes. But I don't want it at the expense of public access for all, including the ability for people who don't walk. I support replacement of any lost parking spots with equal amount of free parking or rates equal to what it costs to drive on the beach on the east side of A1A. Handicap and wheelchair with parking must be available on the east side, meeting or exceeding what is required by Florida State ADA regulations. I urge the county and the hotels requesting no driving on the beach or even those that allow driving, to include ramped access to the beach, both off A1A and from the hotels. In addition, I would like both the county and individual hotels to provide accessible beach chairs to residents and tourists with mobility impairments. Availability should be posted in prominent places, including hotel and tourism literature. This could be advertised as another benefit to vacationing in Daytona Beach. I've traveled around and I rarely find hotel rooms that have roll-in showers and accessibility facing the beach. I rarely see advertised anything about where accessible ramps are or where beach chairs can be found. This could really be an attraction for Daytona Beach. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Barbara Coleman. And then Holly Beckwith. Where are you at, Holly? Come on up front, have a seat in the front. And here's the deal, okay? These are the last two speakers. Oh, I don't have his thing. Okay, we'll let him speak after these young ladies. We got him covered.
Good afternoon, my name is Barbara Coleman. I live at 305 John Anderson Drive in Ormond Beach, Florida. I am an attorney and I moved here in 1968. When I was in high school, I had a surf shop with my brothers on Main Street, and Main Street was very active and vital at that time. We had open driving that was night, day, and dogs, as somebody said earlier. And then what we found is the cities, the city of Daytona, the city of Ormond Beach, and the various cities going further south, began to have disagreements amongst themselves about their location and their portion of the beach. And that's when it was, I think it was in 1988, that the decision was made by the public, us, to quit the balkanization of our beach. In other words, when you were driving in Ormond Beach, you actually had to go up the approach to get off the beach to get back on to Daytona's. And we wanted to avoid that. That was the whole purpose. That was the primary focus of why we let you all, Volusia County, manage our beach. The idea being was that if we had it all one contiguous beach, we would no longer have the disagreements that we have among the cities. Now we have come full circle, and now we see, once again, the balkanization of our beach. The ease of access is what made Daytona so very attractive, getting on and off. I myself had a sailboat. I didn't have a car at the time, and I literally walked my sailboat down to the beach, down the beach ramp, which is now closed. So any young person of that time, when I was like 15, they can't do that anymore. You can't do it anymore. It's not allowed. That was just a sailboat ride. The handicapped issue, I think, has been addressed, but essentially it's going to take two. It's going to take two people to get a handicapped person down the beach. Why? You take somebody in a metal handicapped wheelchair, you get them down to the beach. They have to trade off into the beach item. The person you'll have to have somebody take the metal one back to the car. So there's going to be required, and I don't think that's a reasonable accommodation by this county to say that we're going to just put some plastic handicap chairs out for them. Cars. If you took physics in high school or college, you'll know that the safest place during a thunderstorm is a car. Why? Because if lightning strikes, it goes around the car. And that is the safety aspect, the health, safety, and welfare of many of the families that will come to our beach. That's a safety factor for them. They can get in the car and get out of their storms. We are not like up north. Our storms come on, and they come on quickly. My father used to come down the beach to get me out of my sailboat and drive the car and get me into the car while the storm passed. The beach is dynamic. It moves and it's changed. And I'm sorry, I've run out of time.
You have run out of time.
Just last thing, your mission is not to raise our tax base.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Holly Beckwith, you are next. No. He's on a different issue. He just likes sitting here with us.
I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here, but my name is Holly Beckwith. I live on 120.
You come closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
My name is Holly Beckwith. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. My house is 1223 River Place in Daytona Beach, which is within feet of Silver Beach and the Silver Beach approach. I don't look forward to increased traffic in my neighborhood. I don't look forward to asking for my parking permits for in front of my house. I wanted to carry on with the notice of safety thing first. Many of you might be from here, you might not be from here. A couple years ago, a little girl in Flagler was killed when she chased her beach ball out into the traffic. That's going to be hard to avoid.
You please.
I shouldn't be interrupted, but you don't want to be interrupted. I'm being interrupted. If you could pause that, finish your. There's so many of us here. I'm a graduate student, about to graduate with a degree in entertainment business. I appreciate these people coming to our town. I don't appreciate that I understand we won't have music. The safety features, of course, go first. I also want to shed the light. I don't know the name of the child I've seen hit in New Smyrna. I saw a child go flying on my way to the beach. Couldn't stop. It was an emergency. It wasn't my child. It wasn't my people. This will continue to happen. The people that visit that core area you speak of, they can't cross the road now, much less with chairs. Everybody jaywalks. It's enough to drive you nuts when you actually live here. I was raised on the west side of the county, born in Sonoma County because I was in a hospital in Deltona. Now I own property in Daytona Beach. Nothing's improved. I came back to this area in 2001. The first thing I did before I even stopped at my house was go to drive down the beach from Granada all the way to Ponce, like I had always known and was able to do. It broke my heart. I've not been able to do it since I've been back. In my world, you guys can all take this back to where the beginning. Open the beach entirely. Let us work with it from there, where we have the night beach driving. We can work together as a team to have events so that those of us who so badly want to just try, idle for however many miles we used to be able to do it, let us do it again. You don't have to say yes today. You can, like the other people said, stop this now. Take the time to be professionals and consider the people that pay the money for this county. If anybody's ever bothered to look at the library in Orlando, there's a book, it's called The Annals of Volusia. It's actually definitive as to what Volusia stands for, and I believe, if I remember it correctly, it's of one's own. We have always been a people of our own opinion and our own right to speak and stand here, so I'd appreciate it if you would all respect that and our traditions. What happened in the last 20 years has not helped. What's happened in the last 30 years has not helped either. It's tearing this place apart.
Good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Night.
No. Okay, Bob, you sit right there, Bob. We've got.
Stand up, sir, I go to the podium.
Okay, come on, watch out, Mrs. Hall is in front of you.
Let it go. No discrimination. You got to sit ready then.
Good to see you again, Bob.
Hey, thank you. Whoops.
Okay, don't do that. Don't break your equipment today.
I left home at 20 of 7 this morning to get here, so it's been a while.
Okay, for the record, we need your full name and your address, and I will let you know when you have 30 seconds left. You have 3 minutes to...
And I appreciate that. My name is Robert Lassone. I live at 100 Silver Beach Avenue. That's a word we've been hearing a lot of today. I've been here in my current address for approximately 23 years. I came to Florida from New York in '83. So I've been here for a while. I am a member, sit on the board of directors of the Legal Advocacy Center for Central Florida. That's consuming some 12 county bar associations that goes from the coast here all the way over to the Gulf of Mexico. And today I was very heartened and surprised to hear how many people on one side of the coin or the other mentioned the ADA laws, and including just recently a member of the legal firm that spoke of the ADA compliance. part of the ADA law says that you must be making reasonable accommodations for the disabled. And this is what I am hoping that we might be able to do. As you can tell from my pin I wear, I do support the 3 amendments that are coming before you today, or I'd like to tweak it, as they will be tweaked as we develop this program, if we are successful in getting this new development. And that is that if you build it, they will come. I believe that we should build a boardwalk from Silver Beach to University, having connections to the businesses and also to the beach for all, with ramps that go down from this boardwalk to the hard sand of the beach. If you've ever walked some of the stairs that go across the dunes up in Flagler County, and I'm sure down in the south part of the county here, you'll notice that when there's a high tide and the sands get pushed in, the stairs are buried, and then they go way down it's rare that they are exposed to the very bottom of the staircase. So you build your ramps from the boardwalk down to the hard sand and bury it so that there always will be a accessible way for the persons who have mobility problems to get to the beach. Number 2, by building this boardwalk, you are giving something back to the people. You may be taking parking away from them, but you are giving them something back, and they will come. You'll see a promenade. If you've ever been to Atlantic City, the boardwalks are always being used, especially in the morning with the people in the later part of the afternoon. So, and this will open up new business enterprises for persons as well. So let's consider doing that when we tweak this. And if you do decide to develop this, I hope you include members of the disabled community, and I'm volunteering right now myself, and I know others that will serve on that committee. And my 30 seconds are to go.
Right.
And just want to say thank you to the county. You also helped us build a new bridge. I was against the Orange Avenue Veterans Memorial Bridge when they wanted to tear it down and replace it with a high-rise, but when we got voted down on that, I volunteered and I did serve on the committee for a new Veterans Memorial Bridge, and we now have planned to have charging stations for wheelchairs on that bridge, because you put a 5-story building in front of it, but we have a way of conquering it now.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeff is coming up on your right. All right, with that, we are out of public participation. So, we will now close the public participation section of this public hearing. We now open up the council discussion and action. I've been informed the way we have to do this is we will start with our discussion and action on ordinances 2015-06, which is the first ordinance. Mr. Wagner?
Yes, my comments will be somewhat short. They seem like a lot of my comments have been out there already through the media. First and foremost, thank you everyone for being here. I've appreciated the comments. I thought there were some great speakers, some great things said from both sides. So thank you for that. Thank you for being cordial. A few particular people I think that were helpful the past couple weeks. David Davis, I thought you've been engaged and very civil, and I've enjoyed the satire. I think you're a smart man. We may disagree on this one a bit, but I have enjoyed that. James, I do appreciate your comments as well, James Harper. Although I'm not a Nancy Reagan fan, because to just say no, I have to say, of affecting any groups, the minorities with the drug war has been catastrophic, so I will not be using that as my example. Elaine, I appreciate your leadership and really getting this out. I think it's been great. Greg Gimbert, I think, has been a champion for this cause. Early on, I've known Greg since I've served with his brother since I was a little kid, but I've known Greg for quite some time. This issue has been difficult for me personally, even in my own home, as I pull out of my driveway to my brother-in-law's house, who also persuaded my mom to put a sign in her yard. So it's been difficult times in the Wagner household. I have been committed to beach driving for the past. I am still committed to beach driving. I'm probably a little different than you would like, but I am. I can tell you, Mark Swanson, our beach director, can affirm this, that I call him and bitch and complain constantly about the beach being closed, and why are we closing it this time, and why are we doing this, and why are these cones here, and what are we up to? Reason being is someone mentioned the SUPs. And driving on the beach, you know, 2 little kids. When the tide is high in front of my house, I have driving. When the tide is high and the cars aren't allowed on the beach, We do bring them down there, but when it's low tide and mid tide, I do have to be careful. I bring them down there, but it's a different experience as a parent. But I'll tell you where I spend most of my time is at ponds. I use that 300-foot section where there's no driving. One, I like to surf there, but it's nice because you can drive right up to it. When I call Mark, it's because I'm mad because the beach isn't open and I can't figure out because I got to carry an SUP because my kids like to jump off it. So it's a pain, it's awful. It's something to get used to. I don't want to lose beach driving, is the point. I think it's stand-up paddling is I heard a whisper over there, which actually in the water I don't like them at all. I only have them because of the kids. But the issue with the beach driving and how I see this and my why. I want to keep it somewhat short. This is hard for me. This is difficult because I have always been such a pro beach driving person. I'm remaining a beach driving person, but I have somewhat of a dilemma. This is the problem. We continue to, in my opinion, not support projects that I think are going to move us to a point of economic development at the next level that I think we need to get to. As I explained this to my 2- and 4-year-old last night, when I said, what are your views on beach driving, and because we drive on the beach, they were confused because we go to church in my car on Sundays in front of the drive-in church every Sunday. And it's just me and my 2 kids, and we sit there and they play, and I teach them how to pray. But we go on the beach every Sunday, and then a lot of times we're going to ponds on the weekends. And I explained to them, are you okay with this, guys? What are your thoughts? And really engaging them, especially the 4-year-olds, really just smart kids. And they were upset because we're not going to, the first thought is we're not going to be able to drive on the beach. First thought from a 4-year-old, Dad, we're not going to be able to drive on the beach? And it was really interesting because an instant reaction. And I explained to him, no, we're still going to be able to drive on the beach, just certain areas we won't be able to drive, and it really eased him quite a bit. He was very comfortable with it. And I explained to him why I thought this project is important. His future, going to a next level. I'm tired of the brain drain. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of my friends leaving. Is this the answer? Not in itself, but Trader Joe's is. Daytona 1, Daytona Rising. These projects I look as a whole. I'm okay with my legacy being that I got rid of 1,300 feet, 90 parking spots, or possibly a mile. I'm okay with it, I accept it. What I don't want my legacy to be is of a council of no. I don't want it. I want to move this community forward. Sometimes I gotta make decisions that are hard, and I don't like them. It goes against my conscience. I don't like them. But I was elected to make tough, hard decisions that aren't personal to me, because the personal me doesn't want to do it. But what I was elected to do was this. And that's my view, accept it, I get it. But I'm going to go ahead and put a motion to approve the first ordinance.
Okay, a motion for approval of ordinance 2015-06. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Patterson. You still on the floor, Mr. Wagner.
That's it. Thank
That's
you.
it? That's all you got? Okay, Mr. Daniels.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing about the county's role in beach driving, Ms. Coleman had it exactly right. We took over the role of running the beach to preserve beach driving, and the county has done a remarkable job on that, actually. It's been an incredible amount of money to preserve beach driving. In fact, we have preserved it long beyond its natural life. If it had been left with the cities would have never laid out the money. They would have taken cars off the beach 20 years ago. So anybody who likes beach driving really should be thanking the county for preserving it, and preserving it for a lot longer than the cities would have, than it would have been anyway.
Mr. Daniels, if I may, for a moment. Okay, folks, I understand, but you had your chance, you had your time, and we were respectful to your views, and we didn't have laughter back here. We weren't giggling, we weren't cheering, we were doing our job. Mr. Daniels has the floor. Please give him the respect due of having the floor. I apologize, Mr. Daniels, you still have the floor.
Thank you. You know, I've been arguing to get cars off the beach for 20 years. Became apparent when I was chairman of the beach committee and charter review that it was doing a lot of economic damage to the area, and that changed my mind back then. I've been an advocate ever since. And what I'd like to do is I would like to propose that we at least think about just doing it. Just take cars off the beach from University to Silver Beach. Let's just do it. The reason for doing it is that a 4 or 5 star hotel is not likely to show up here and beg us to take cars off the beach and run the gauntlet. They're just not going to do it. Anybody with money, brains, intelligence, capability to do that sort of project is going to go somewhere else. They're going to go someplace where they're wanted, where the table is already set, and maybe we should begin to think about setting the table. You know, we're not going to make anybody madder, I don't think, you know, by doing that. If you take one car off the beach, you might as well get them all. The other thing is I do believe that it would be like Andy Romano Park. We took cars off the beach for Andy Romano Park. People showed up and they were upset about it. Now everybody loves that park. This would be like Andy Romano. You know, they would, you know, they'd really, you know, they would really like it. That's the reason why I support this. What I think a lot of them don't believe is they don't believe us. They don't believe that we are going to put the parking on the east side of the A1A. They don't believe we're going to give them access. If we do that, then I think that makes up for a lot. And let me thank Mr. Wagner, and you're the one who brought this issue forward. I know that I've even sick.
We don't have to bring that up in front of all these people.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You also brought up the homeless issue. Let's move on to something less controversial. You know, but you know, really, it was a bold move on your part, and I respect you for having done it. But you know, what we're giving the developers is sort of half measure. We're not giving them something they can really rely on. We're doing it in a way. This is going to be an issue from now on. That this is going to be an issue till the last dog dies. It would be easier just to do it, give them vested rights, and just get this over. I may be the only one on the county council who feels this way. Is there anyone else that would want to go further than what this ordinance does?
I think we need to stick with the ordinance as written, and we can address that later.
I think I see a consensus that wants to stick with the ordinance as written. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Ms. Kuzak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me thank all of you for being here. I feel strongly that this is democracy in action. Now, I don't ask that you agree with me, but I ask that you would respect me as I will respect you. I've heard an array of concerns here today, and I believe truly that everyone in this room wants Volusia County to be the very best that it can be. From a recreational standpoint, from a economical, empowered standpoint, for our children and our grandchildren, I think that we want what's best for all of us. To those individuals that would want to come and do business with us, I embrace that. I embrace that because that's what we must do. We must have citizen participation, and we must have individuals that are willing to invest their money and their time in this county called Volusia. Now let me tell you, I was born here. So no one in here, I don't know how deep your roots are here, but mine is 3 generations deep. And I care about this. I, Mr. Hopper, was one of those individuals who went to Bethune Beach because that was the only beach I could go to. I understand, I get that. But I also understand that things change. People change. I can go to any beach in Volusia County today And so there were those that thought that we should not have had the opportunity to do that. So we have to move forward. And I think that we have to understand that we must be partners in this. Don't take my views for granted, and I won't take yours for granted. I asked my granddaughters that as I drove them to school this morning, what do you think about the fact that we are going to have discussion about driving on the beach today? They're 11 years old. And they said to me, well, I said we should have driving on the beach. She said, why is there a discussion on that? I said, because there are some areas that we want to remove cars from, and there are folks that want to invest in our area, and they don't want the cars in front of that investment. She said, well, that's pretty simple, Mima. All you have to do is have places that you can go, that where there's driving on the beach. 11 years old. I said, yeah, but it's tradition versus economic development. I know how deep this runs for you, Josh, and for all of my members here, colleagues on the council. But we gotta know that you can't look backwards, you must look forward. I made a commitment to do some things here. And by the way, I'm not running for office again. So you can't tell me that is the case. But I want you to know that many years ago, 12 years ago, for 12 years, my word has been my bond. Does it change? Sometimes it may change.